So the title of this presentation is Rate of Forgetting, Reviewing and Studying. So I'm going to introduce to you the idea of taking Cornell notes. So here is Ebbinghouse's forgetting curve. It shows you the rate that you forget things. So as you can see, as time goes by, you lose a lot of the material that you've learnt. In the first day, you lose material very quickly. After 20 minutes, you only have 58% left. After 1 hour, 44%. And after 1 day, you have only remembered 33% of the information. This is a problem for students as you will get exams and things. So what can you do as a student? You can get multiple repetitions of what you're learning. That's how we learn, by repeating things. The questions we're going to answer are: when should we review our notes and get repetitions? And how many repetitions should we get before an exam to make us efficient students? So here we have the graph again, but this time there are 3 revision points. 1 after 10 minutes, 1 after 24 hours, and 1 after 3 days. Researchers have identified these 3 times as making students more effective. And they used these review times when they were creating Cornell notes. As you can see on this slide, we have the structure of Cornell notes. So on the right hand side is where you take your notes. You take them during the lecture or during the class. You try and write just main ideas and just keywords, so you're not writing full sentences. Where possible, use abbreviations and also try and use lists. Then on the left-hand side, you have like a Q column or a recall column. And that is where you write study questions that ask about the main ideas in the notes section. At the bottom, you also have a summary section where you repeat the main ideas again. So the notes section, after taking notes in class, you should then review your notes within 10 minutes. So basically you need to text code your notes. So underline the main ideas, circle keywords, put questions next to things that are confusing or you want to know more about. Highlight the main ideas. Here you can see an example of some notes that a student has taken and text coded and highlighted. That's what it should look like. The recall column is on the left-hand side, and you review that 24 hours after your class, so the next day. So you just look at your notes that you have written and then think, what questions can I ask to ask about the main ideas in the material. Try and write general questions because you can answer general questions with a lot of information. Avoid specific questions that have one-word answers. So here's an example. You can see some of the questions that a student has written for their note-taking activity. Finally, we have the summary section at the bottom of the page. You write that 3 days after your class. So a summary is just where you repeat the main ideas again. A good way of doing that is just simply to answer the questions that you wrote in the recall section. You should only really be writing 2 or 3 sentences. Here's an example down here. There are 2 sentences written in this summary. If answering the recall section doesn't, the questions in the recall section doesn't really help you, you can think about answering the WH questions. So who is this about? What is it about? Where, when, how, why? If you can answer all of those WH questions, then you will have written a nice summary focusing on the main ideas. So in creating your Cornell notes, you will have reviewed the material 3 times. Before an exam, you should really review the material 5 times. So what you can do is just review your notes again. You can use the fold over technique where you fold a line between the notes and the recall section, and you can look at the recall questions and see if you can remember the information in the notes, or you can compare your notes with a friend and see what they've written. So the main thing is you get 5 repetitions before an exam. Okay, goodbye.